Morning, YouTube. Today I'd like to talk to you about my Benjamin Discovery and some of the modifications I've done on it. I call this my Benjamin Marauder's little brother. I bought this thing at Walmart for $200, and which I thought was a pretty good deal. The only thing I didn't like with it is it came with a 177 caliber barrel. So the first mod I did on it was change the barrel to 22 caliber. Secondly was to do something about this single shot breech. It's a nice steel breech, but really hard. I've got big hands and it's really hard for me to load. So especially with the 177. The 22 wasn't so bad, but the 177 was ridiculous for me anyway. So I started searching online and I found this B&M machine shop that makes the receiver for it, for the Discovery, and they also make one for the Craftsman 2240. Anyway, I installed it and it's very nice, very smooth, 10 shot, uses your standard 22 caliber Marauder clip, magazine, whatever, and just a really nice smooth receiver. This gun has a lot of power. I'd say it's pretty close to the Marauder in the 22 caliber as far as power is. But it's very, very loud. So it's almost as loud as a 22. So I was looking at B&M and they wanted like $100 or $105 for the Shroud and the baffles in it. And I had recently bought this over here, milling machine and a little lathe. So I thought I'd make my own instead of buying one. Save myself $105. I searched online to try to find this tube in aluminum. And the only tube I could find was a 3/4 inch aluminum tube, which was a little bit too big for this gun. Actually, I think this is a 1-inch tube. Yeah, I needed 7/8 or 3/4. I could find the 3/4, but I couldn't find the 7/8. The bottom tube is 7/8, so I wanted everything to match. So what I ended up doing is I was looking in my garage and I had some old electrical conduit. It was exactly the right size. The only difference is a little bit of weight factor. So I started tinkering with it. Everything seemed to work out. The specs were right. So I continued on. So next I took my Marauder apart and I looked at the baffle system in it and decided to make my own. It didn't look that difficult. It's bored on the inside. I don't know exactly what the size is, I forgot, but the walls are 1/16. I started out with 7/8 aluminum bar and milled it down, and this is what they look like. They're flat on one side with a 22 caliber hole drilled in it, and then they're bored out. This last wall right here is about 1/8 of an inch thick. The side walls are about 1/16 of an inch thick. Now, in order to make these things work, you've got to have 6 inches of free space in here, which means I had to cut that 24-inch barrel down that I just bought down to 18 inches in order to accommodate for these. Now, I was looking at the Marauder and it's got, I think it's 4.5 baffles in it, and I thought, why do you have to have 4 baffles when I can do it with 3? Or actually, if I could have done it, if I'd have got my tool deep enough in there, I'd have just used 1. But with a small lathe over here, I ended up settling for 2.25 inch and 1.5 inches. So let me put this all back together and you can hear what it sounds like. No, first I'm going to dry fire it with the baffles out so you can see exactly how loud this gun is. I didn't have it cocked all the way. Pretty dang loud. This is the Shroud's mounting system. You got one in the rear and one in the front, milled to the exact ID of the tube here. Okay, this front one, and I don't know how well you can see it, You got to have some through holes drilled through here so the back pressure from the baffles can go back in the tube, and that helps quiet it. Okay, these just slide back down the barrel. I'm putting the smallest one in there first, and the next one, and the next one, and these all added together are 6 inches. And this is just the plug for the end. Actually, it's not a plug. It's got a 22 caliber hole drilled in it, but it's the end cap for it. Now, if you're wondering what size I drilled these holes, I believe it was 13/64. I overbored these slightly because I didn't want a catastrophe to happen the first time I fired it, in case everything wasn't lined up, but luckily it was. So no catastrophe. It shot perfect. Now here's sound test with the baffles in. Notice the difference? You can barely hit it. You can barely hear it. Now the reason you want to quiet these down is because you may see a group of dove or something, and you're out dove hunting, you're going to shoot one and all the rest are going to fly because your gun's too loud. And that's the whole point of quieting these things down. And it does have the power to rabbit hunt, dove hunt. Just about anything you normally hunt with a 22 you can do with this. They are very powerful. Well, that about closes it for this video. Except I didn't show you this. This is my tripod. Little mount for it. I don't really need it on this gun, but I do the Marauder. Due to the lightweightness of this gun, you don't really need a tripod on it. I'm probably going to take this off and just stick with the sling. But anyway, have a good day, YouTubers, and good luck in your endeavors. Okay, I forgot to mention that I did find eventually some aluminum tubing to fit that conversion right there, the tubing conversion. The place is thelittlemachineshop.com, and if you have one of these lathes, the Siege X2 lathe and milling machine, they also have parts for them. So that's a good place to look, and I think they're a little cheaper than going to eBay. Alright, YouTube, best of luck in all your endeavors, and this is I'm signing off for now. Electronic Dog.